What's going on, folks? This is Astrid. So I'm going to review Kid Cudi's debut mixtape called "A Kid Named Cudi." Now, basically, this came out in the summer of 2008, and Kid Cudi had went through the New York scene trying to make a come up in music, and had made some connections with some producers and stuff. One of which was Dot the Genius, who he lived with, and that was the producer behind the single Day and Night, which was his debut single and really charted extremely high throughout 2008 and possibly 2009. I mean, that was also a song on like his Man on the Moon album from 2009, but this was kind of like the primer for Kid Cudi. And it's just kind of interesting because you look after the way that some of this alternative hip hop kind of turned out. I definitely have to say that Kid Cudi wins a lot of originality points because he's kind of like a cross between like a Kanye West and Andre 3000, along with like a Travie McCoy. I mean, that's definitely some of the ones that he reminds me of just around that time. But considering that Travie McCoy hadn't really gone solo, he was kind of with Gym Class Heroes around that time. Kid Cudi probably beat him to the punch somewhat, unless you're counting it. Well, I don't know enough about Gym Class Heroes to really say that. I'm going to review them, but yeah, I would have to say like Kid Cudi had some originality points with a kid named Cudi and was just doing stuff that most people weren't. I mean, he did that sing-songy Drake style before Drake did. That's basically what Day and Night is a kind of R&B flavored song, very similar to Best I Ever Had by Drake. Very similar to Best I Ever Had by Drake, just a lot more spacey and kind of club oriented and that type of stuff. It was just a smash hit single, deserved the success it got. So it's just kind of interesting to see after that winter 2008, fall 2007 approach that Kid Cudi had initially, the attention he attracted with this project, and it's solid enough. I do think, especially for 2008, it's definitely ahead of its time. There was not a lot of mixtapes like most of the mixtapes that were around in 2008. This is definitely like a taste of 2010s mixtapes where they would put singles on there and release music videos and kind of not just do freestyles and that type of stuff. This is not like a Lil Wayne dedication to type mixtape or a Jeezy Trap or Die type mixtape. This might as well have been like the primer for like this. I consider this basically like a Kid Cudi album, despite how effective it was. There's no freestyles on here. There's no kind of spare nonsense and just kind of the DJs cutting and doing that sort of stuff. It's really kind of original music the whole way through, and I like the concept behind that just to kind of get this approach. I don't know how many mixtapes before this one were kind of doing that, so it's definitely dope that had that kind of concept. But so to talk about the singles, there were actually two of them. Even though Wikipedia only says that Day and Night was the only single, I kind of feel like because Kid Cudi dropped the music video for Heaven at Night, and the whole concept about it was the fact that he's dropping music videos and he doesn't even have an album out. It's pretty good. So that's his debut project, and he's already got a couple music videos out. So that's an interesting kind of thing. So I'm gonna count Heaven at Night also. But the first single was Day and Night. Really kind of brilliant production on here, real eerie and kind of spacey and just exuberantly kind of like galactic and kind of this oozing with club oriented type feels towards it. This would have to say, I mean, really, it deserved the success it got. I don't know if Kid Cudi, how many times he topped this song. I don't know enough about his career to wonder how many other songs he got to this magnitude. But this is definitely an initial hit that just completely crested extremely well. The sing-songiness just works. It's very emphatic and infectious, and it's just a great debut single, and I think this caught the attention of a lot of folks, including Kanye West, whose label he signed to later. So that's kind of the concept there. Just that should show you the emphasis behind this song. I really could see this being played at nightclubs even today. It still is a great popular nightclub song. It's an easy song to kind of vibe out to, smoke to, and just kind of chill at a club, just sitting at a booth, something like that, music venues, those type places. The second single is Heaven at Night, and this is a woozy song. I definitely liked it. I mean, there's first verse is Kid Cudi rapping, and then for the rest of the song, he just sings through it kind of like he did in Day and Night. So it's interesting that he has that vibe right off the bat. So it's not like a one-time thing. But I would have to say, to me, the production kind of reminds me of just like leaving a bar and kind of being tipsy and needing to find your way back home, and just kind of the wooziness of stepping out and, hey, I'm a little kind of shaky, a little bit jilted, that type stuff, and just kind of, you gotta get back to your pad, get on with. I mean, where the night's almost over, but it isn't quite over. That's kind of the vibe that I got from it. Is just kind of going home, and it's not quite as in the moment and in the club as day and night, but it's just kind of the after hours. I could almost say like the last 20, 30, 40 minutes that you're going to be at a bar. You either have the chick that you're going to get or you don't, something like that. Those kind of moments where it's just like, okay, it's time to relax, go home, kick off your shoes, that type stuff. I did like the concept behind it. I did like Kid Cudi's sing-songiness on here. It's not as catchy as Day and Night, but it's catchy enough. Yeah, it's decent. I mean, I can see it's too bad that he didn't drop it as an official single, because I think the originality behind it just really reminds me of like a kind of after hours kind of song. So it's kind of clever that that happened. But there is a music video for it if you want to look that up and that type thing. Um, but yeah, so there's 16 songs on this project. I did kind of like the intro a little bit. I did kind of like the intro somewhat. It was just kind of Kid Cudi or some folks at the movie theater, and the movie's getting ready to play and that type of stuff. It had a nice, I don't remember what movie intro that was. Might have been, it's one of those ones that you hear before a movie starts. It's pretty cool. I was original that did that. So I'm going to go ahead and list the 7 songs out of 16 that I recommend. So these 7 songs would be Day and Night, Maui Wowie, Whenever, Pillow Talk, TGIF, which is Thank God I'm Fresh, not Thank God It's Friday, Cleveland Is the Reason, and Heaven at Night. So I'm going to go ahead and talk. I already talked about the singles. I feel like if you really want another song like Day and Night, the closest thing to that would be Pillow Talk and Whenever. Whenever has a rap verse in there in addition to the singing, but Pillow Talk is basically like the sing-songiness the whole way through. This would have to say it's not a night venue oriented type song. It's more kind of flirty, kind of at the house, kind of romanticness in there, but it is a nice another R&B flavored type song like Day and Night. So that's a good one. Cleveland Is the Reason has a real kind of spacey and kind of like music venue oriented song. I really feel like this is a nice one to kind of hear in like the fall, something like that. Definitely reminded me of like some kind of house party type production where you're just kind of walking around, that type stuff. Really nice one. I mean, I think the production on this one sticks out just as much as Day and Night, damn near. And it's probably one of the best beats on the mixtape. I would definitely have to say it's just a really good one. TGIF is a club bop. I'm glad that Kid Cudi at least had 1 or 2 of these on here. It's about the same style of production as Day and Night. Not as catchy as Day and Night, but it's definitely a good one. It's just a rap song. This one doesn't have the singing on there, but I did like it. And I like how Chip the Rapper was on there too. I think that's one of his affiliates. I want to say Jackal Goldkick tried showing me him at one point or something like that. But yeah, so TGIF, nice club bop in there. Good to have like some night venue type songs. And then Maui Wowie is a smoking song. So I definitely feel like this song is kind of like easy kind of sing-songy smoking kind of song. It's really kind of emphasized and just stoned as hell type stuff that like needs to happen. Like it's just good when you get like R&B flavored smoking songs, the type of stuff that Nate Dogg would do. It's kind of, it doesn't quite give me Nate Dogg vibes, but it might as well, just because I can't think of too many folks that make R&B songs for smoking. There's some folks that have done it, but this doesn't happen all the time. So it's just kind of most R&B records are about the ladies. So this is kind of a nice flavored kind of smooth smoking song for that. So it's pretty awesome. And then Whenever is another club song. This is kind of a fusion of R&B flavored and rap, and it just really works pretty well. It's another one on par with TGIF and Cleveland Is the Reason. So those are just some good moments. And but there were some awkward kind of beats on here. Like I feel like some of these, like, and not just awkward beats, but kind of awkward titles. I think that was part of the reason what kind of made me question, like, it just is not, the interface is not quite as friendly as far as like a typical rap record. I feel like if you're looking for songs that just have like that instant kind of like Lollipop or Get Money by Lil Wayne or like 21 Questions by 50 Cent or Without Me by Eminem. I mean, some of these song titles kind of have like kind of not necessarily cagey, but just kind of not as user friendly kind of titles in some of these. I feel like Cudi Spazzing, Cudi Get, The Prayer, Embrace the Martian. I mean, some of these kind of 50 ways to make a record. I mean, some of these kind of have like this maybe not clumsy, but almost cumbersome effects towards song titles, where I just think that they were kind of like needed more shaping as far as trying to be able to see, like, as far as jumping off the page and saying, yeah, I want to listen to this song. Like, it just kind of does that, and that's, um, it just kind of gives off a different vibe as far as some of these. But on top of that, they don't really have good production on there. Like some of these, like Is There Any Love is just kind of like a drum beat on there that didn't really do it for me. And Cudi Spazzin. I think Cudi Spazzin was just supposed to be like a rap showing off the lyrics kind of song, but the beat wasn't interesting enough to really have that. And Save My Soul was kind of like a introspective song, but that just the production on there wasn't quite intriguing enough to really be interestingly introspective. So there's just a lot of these 50 ways to make a record was kind of an awkward one too. So it's just kind of, and then like Embrace the Martian, I did like the club oriented type feel of this, but I really felt like the song topic was just very kind of awkward. That's kind of the concept. If it had been, I mean, maybe this is a song I could almost like, but I just kind of feel like the topic of just the way the chorus goes, like Embrace the Martian and, I Come in Peace and that type of stuff. I mean, it takes the space theme more serious than you might think. And it's just kind of odd because I wonder, like, the concept of just saying that in standard conversation, like Embrace the Martian, is just not a typical kind of vibe for like a song title. I mean, like I said, I give Kid Cudi points for originality, but some of it kind of goes into like obscure. That's just kind of the thing in there. But there is some good stuff. I could almost say, like, I don't know if I'm going to give Embrace the Martian an almost song, but it is something. It's just an additional song with the 7 songs I recommend to kind of say that it's somewhat worth checking out. So, but me liking 7 songs out of 16, I'm going to go ahead and give this album a 5.5 out of 10, just because the thing about these songs is I liked most of these and can see them getting some spins, and definitely they work for music venues, they work for nightclubs, they work for just different places for going out and having a night on the town and that type of stuff. And some of these romantic songs, nice sing-songiness, smoking songs in here, some good rapping, some good features, that type of stuff. And just overall, there are some good beats on here, despite the fact that some of them aren't. So that's just kind of the thing. So I feel like 5.5 is solid enough. It's kind of give it the effort. And it basically would almost be a 6 if you counted Embrace the Martian in there as well. So this is kind of the thing, just to kind of say. But at this point, it's just kind of like an odd one or an awkward one. And so the social score, though, I will give like a 6.5 out of 10, just because I feel like a number of these, for this being free music and there's this much kind of numbers towards stepping out and kind of enjoying yourself and kind of enjoying the night and just having some good times. Songs for ladies, songs for smoking, songs for just rapping and kind of showcasing skills and that type of stuff. There's plenty of moments. Kid Cudi is not a square. He admits to drinking and, going to bars and that type of stuff. So it's interesting kind of get that. I mean, the only thing this record is really missing is just like a dance record. And even then, I'd probably say it just would be day and night. So it's just kind of the thing. So, but yeah, it is good. Plenty of fun ousting moments. 6.5 out of 10 for like 6.5 out of 10 for social. In terms of the future, like Kid Cudi dropped an album in September 2022 called Intergalactic. He dropped Intergalactic in September, and he kind of said that he might retire. Hopefully that won't be the case, because I did like this record. I'm going to have to see some more of these, like Man on the Moon and some of those type ones. But for what it is, this is pretty awesome debut. Definitely for the fact that it's free, it's easy enough to gobble up and kind of enjoy. 7 or 8 free songs that kick ass. That's about half the projects. That's pretty stellar in the fact that it's original and it just has a nice flavor of energy that's just, new. and not, and just the innovation is very good on there. So that's kind of the concept. So definite good stuff.